today. The exodus of high-ranking executives at Goldman, do you think it's a reflection of CEO David Solomon, his leadership style, or is this something that has to do with the culture internally at Goldman?
I think it's both, Seema. I think that you've got a new CEO in David Solomon, relatively new, 2.5 years, who really wants to run the company much more like a traditional public company with sort of a top-down hierarchy. Now, of course, Goldman's been public since 1999, so this structure is not new. But Lloyd Blankfein, his predecessor, Hank Paulson before him, they all tried to maintain this sense of partnership within the public company structure. So what does that mean? More collegial, more like sort of peer-to-peer debates about strategy and promotion and deals and all sorts of things. Solomon, as I understand it, really is much more hierarchically minded, even though he's preserved the partnership and has actually tried to shrink it with the goal of making it more special. So some people who are leaving have said to me they feel like that culture is changing and it paved the way for them to want to go. I think to another degree, Goldman folks often get other offers, especially if they're at senior levels or they're building businesses that are competitive. So that in itself is not new. What's new is the number of people who are actually grabbing those opportunities.
So, Kate, question. Changing the partnership structure, which a lot of people describe as more collegial, into something that has more of a hierarchy like a traditional publicly traded company, does that help the efforts of David Solomon and others within the company to make it more inclusive of women and minorities?
You know, I think that's a good question, and it's been a little bit of a double-edged sword. So Solomon must get credit for the fact that he has added 2 Black partners to the management committee. He's also elevated some women. The firm has long had strong women, but he put Stephanie Cohen in charge of strategy. She's now co-running a consumer wealth management effort that's relatively new. He's promoted other women to senior levels, Beth Hammack as treasurer. That said, this current wave of departures includes some very prominent Black partners. You've got what started the year as a Black partner group of just 13 out of about 420 as a denominator, total partners, and 1 Black female partner, 1 Black male partner left. Stephanie Smith, who's going over to BlackRock, and Jason Matthews, who ran an equity sales derivatives desk. So those are real losses. And you've got a senior woman leaving in Karen Patton Seymour, who is their general counsel. Now, it should be said she's being replaced by a woman as well. So, you know, you've still got a more diverse presence in that seat there. But it's interesting to see that you're seeing sort of 2 different elements going on at the same time.
Female representation in the C-suite, Kate, it's improved, but we still have a long way to go. But on that topic, Jane Fraser at Citigroup, what's the biggest task at hand? She's now been CEO for about 1 week of the 3rd largest bank.
You know, it's a good question. And I think it's exciting to a lot of women on Wall Street to see Jane Fraser in that seat. That has to be said. I mean, this is truly a historic moment for women in finance. You know, she's got a lot of wood to chop. The bank reported year over year lower revenue and earnings. Their stock price, I was just taking a look at it, like other financials, as you pointed out, doing well this year, but has a ways to go. And they've also had a raft of regulatory issues in the last year or so. She's going to need to sort of bounce back from that, build back up some of their businesses. So I think there's a lot that she's going to have to tackle. Interestingly, though, they also have a relatively more diverse C-suite. They have a CFO who's a person of color, and now, of course, they have Jane, as we mentioned, and that's going to be interesting to see as well.
All right, Kate Kelly from the Wall Street Journal, we appreciate that reporting.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.